The Vegas Golden Knights are in a back-and-forth battle for division supremacy and a playoff spot. Chris Gawlik of Locked On VGK joins us to talk about what it'll take to get them across the finish line. All that and more next on today's Locked On NHL Podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Gil Martin here. Welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. During the tournament, FanDuel is offering $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show the co-host of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights, Chris Gawlik. And Chris, a big win Sunday for Vegas going head-to-head with Dallas, one of the teams they may face it if they can advance into the playoffs. A tough opponent, no matter how you slice it. How important was this win, and what does it mean, especially in light of this team's recent up-and-down struggles?
Confidence booster. We'll start there. I think they were 3-7 their last 10. Now they're up to 4-6. So you got this brutal Pacific division right now. We'll hit that a little bit later here, but point being is it's a razor thin edge as far as first place and third place and being out of the playoffs. So Golden Knights get a big 2 points. It's a little bit of fool's gold. The Stars played the day before. They had to travel farther. Tougher opponent, tougher circumstance, but doesn't matter. VGK found a way to get it done, and now there's some confidence with, 10 or 11 remaining games.
What has been the biggest reason for this team's struggles lately?
We only have 8 minutes of this segment left. Tough question. I mean, listen, a lot of people are going to say goaltending, and that's fair. You look at the structure, you look at Coach Cassidy's system, and they're getting a ton of high dangers. They're out shooting their opponents. But until the Stars game, this Golden Knights team has been giving up the first shot of the game, has been finding a way to the back of the net. They have not been able to stop the bleeding when things get going. You can say Olympic fatigue. Mark Stone had an injury that was seemed like a quirk, something that happened in the Olympics. He mentioned the travel. Jack Eichel's not been himself. Shea Theodore has gone non-existent from an offensive side. Good on the defensive side of the puck. Probably his best defensive season ever as a Golden Knight. Very underrated, but on the offensive side, it wasn't clicking. The special teams struggled mightily despite being top 10 on the kill and the power play, but it's been rough down the stretch. And I've been very critical of Coach Cassidy during all this, potentially losing the locker room, the team just not playing for him. And Cassidy's great, but all coaches have a shelf life.
Do you think he's in danger of losing his job if they don't make the playoffs or if they maybe lose in the first round?
I think if they miss the playoffs, it's almost certain. If they make the playoffs and if it's a one and done and a bad one and done, I think that there's an intense conversation. I mean, the saying goes, it's not that other word, but it rolls downhill. And at the top of the hill is Bill Foley. He's not selling the team. McPhee's the president. He's probably not going anywhere. McCrimmon's the GM. He's likely not going anywhere, but he's under some fire. And at the bottom of that hill with the big pile of it coming down it is Coach Cassidy.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, what do you think is the biggest reason for the team's fall from where they've been the last few years to this year?
They're stuck in between right now. This used to be a run and gun type of team. They had one of the most lethal transitional offenses in the league. The puck can be in the defensive zone, quick breakout, quick transition, quick odd man rush. 3.5 seconds later, it's a quality scoring chance or in the back of the opponent's net. You're not seeing that. Coach Cassidy's system is one that is supposed to limits odd man rushes the other way. Well, it's not been happening. The other teams begin a lot of odd man rushes on the Golden Knights. Not necessarily in this Dallas game on Sunday, but general perspective over the last 10 games, it's been a little bit rough. And when I say stuck in between, now you do see this team getting a little bigger. The acquisitions, Nick Dowd and Cole Smith, probably low below the radar type of trade deadline acquisitions. In Vegas, we're used to getting every shiny new toy there is. So you get a couple of fourth line grinder, energy journeymen. You're like, okay, really, what's the reason? But when you look at, these players for the fourth line, any combination of Sissons, Cole Smith, Keegan Colasar, Nick Dowd. I mean, that's a playoff caliber fourth line. I know I said four players; they're all kind of rotating right now, but that's a playoff caliber fourth line that you don't want to play against. But the rest of the team, like, they're not big, but they're not necessarily as fast. So I think McCrimmon needs to kind of pick a lane, and then Cassidy has to play the hand that's dealt to him maybe and change his system a little bit based on his personnel.
Talk to me about Pavel Dorofeyev. I mean, quietly 34 goals, and maybe a lot of people outside of Vegas aren't as familiar with him as they should be.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone who's in my sports card streams, I've been talking about Dorofeyev for the last 5 years. So I've made some people some money investing in his cards. I mean, like you said, 34 goals, large portion of those on the power play, 23 apples. Dude's going to get paid. He's an RFA. So his UFA deal is, I think, until the following year, but he's about to get paid, looking at possibly an 8-figure AAV sooner than later. That's going to be another, well, we don't have a salary cap in Vegas, so it's not going to be a problem at all. I'm not worried about that actually one bit. But Dorofeyev, I mean, it's not just the goals and the points. He's evolved his board battles. He's evolved his defensive game. He has a much more active stick, and he's just learned the game well. He's had plenty of great players to learn from, and this is one of the rare success stories of VGK developing someone. What gets me about Dorofeyev is he had no great measurables in the KHL. You look at his stats, you're like, okay, why did they get this guy? And he's phenomenal. Like so many KHL players we see, they put up 150 points in, 62 games or something like that. Obviously, it's a little sarcastic, but you know where I'm going with that. Dorofeyev's stats, you're like, okay, but obviously a scout convinced him. Oh God, what's the movie? I don't know what the movie is. The Scout. I think it's called The Scout. The Ranger, or the New York Yankee, whatever. I think it was something like that. Someone got sent to the KHL because they were in trouble from their GM and came back with a gem.
How important?
Terrible movie, by the way. Awful.
How important is it for this team to A, be in the top three, and B, maybe get home ice advantage in the first round? Because as you mentioned, the Pacific Division is wide open.
I joke that 92 points is going to win the division and 89 points you're going to be on the outside looking in on the playoffs. And I said that more tongue in cheek, and it's looking more and more like reality right now. I mean, do the Golden Knights want to match up with Edmonton in that 2-3 seed? I don't know. I mean, Vegas has had Edmonton's number. Edmonton's had Vegas's number. Leon Draisaitl, it seemed like it was just a regular season injury, but then all of a sudden now it's hoping to come back early in the playoffs. Some new comments came out. You take Draisaitl away from that team, not going to take anything away from McDavid by any means, but you take Draisaitl away, that's going to make things interesting. We know about the Oilers' goalie struggles. Ducks, I mean, if it's Coach Quinn will have him ready. That's probably the best thing that team has going for him. Obviously, in my former Blackhawk fandom days, I know Coach Q pretty well, and he's a phenomenal coach. So I think I'd rather see him in that 2-3 seed, or if Anaheim slips down to that 3 seed. But how important is home ice advantage? And it helps. It's not a be-all, end-all as we know in the NHL.
What is the one biggest thing this team needs to do down the stretch to A, make the playoffs, and then B, do well once they get there?
Well, goaltending, people are gonna crap on the goalies, but the reality is it's not the goal, not entirely the goalies. The system in front needs to work for the goalies to have success. Aiden Hill, Carter Hart looks like he's coming back into the fold. Kira Schmid's been okay. So one of these goalies needs to take the ball and run with it, likely Aiden Hill, but the team is also high on Carter Hart. We know his situation. I'll just focus on the fact that he was away from hockey for a long time and just came back into it. So one of these goalies need to take the ball and run with it. Coach Cassie's got to get the line straight. He had Mitch Marner back in center against the Stars. That drives me absolutely nuts. Mark Stone is not healthy. He's skating. He's on the ice, but he's not at all where he needs to be. I mean, this team, the recipe for success for the Golden Knights is simple. Get lucky in the playoffs and have it all come together. They got an easy path out of the Pacific to get to the conference final. Whoever gets to the conference final, it's an easy path. And any team in the NHL can get hot for 8 games after that.
We shall see how VGK does. Chris, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they could find the podcast and where they could find you and your co-host on social media?
I'd say Locked On Golden Lights just 5 days a week. We're going 6 or 7 days a week now. So Locked On VGK, YouTube, anywhere you catch your podcast. I'm TD Chris G. Tony Cordasco. Don't worry. Just I'm TD Chris G. Tony, you'll find Tony if you find me, I promise. So yeah, thank you.
All right, Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Spring is a natural reset point, and if there's one thing that can quietly cost a business money, it's messy communication. Missed calls, scattered text, no clear thread of who said what. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the smarter way to run your business communications. Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2 with over 3,000 reviews, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses. It lets your entire team share one business number, so you never miss a call, text, or opportunity. The part I love, everything lives in one clean thread, calls, texts, voicemail. The whole team sees the conversation, so nothing falls through the cracks. And the AI summary saves serious time by logging calls and highlighting the next steps automatically. It just makes your business feel more organized and responsive. So make this the season that no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/LockedOnNHL. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNHL. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers.